Hello and welcome to another product feedback video, and welcome to iOS 26. Apple's just released a beta version that you can download yourselves. And is it worthwhile doing that? Well, I've installed it on my main device and I've been playing around with it for the last 6 hours. So I'm going to go through some of the changes that I've noticed. And I will also be uploading some more videos. So if you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe, as I will be going through the updates to tvOS and the computer operating system macOS 26, as well as maybe uploading some reels around some of the interesting changes that I find as I go along. So make sure to subscribe. iOS 26 with a liquid glass. It's a brand new UI overhaul and Apple's done some significant changes. First thing you're going to notice is that the icons here have got this little glass transparency. Really interesting. And when you unlock your device, you're going to be interested to see this brand new icon style. What was my first impressions? To be honest, it kind of reminded me of those cheap theming packs. But let's see if there's a little bit more depth to it as we play around with the operating system. But we'll start off with the home screen because you guys will see this brand new clock widget. The way this works is you can click onto the home screen and we'll add a brand new home screen setup, and we'll scroll down and add this one here. As you guys can see, you've got an option here that's a little bit different now in terms of the menus. It's got this little redesign where we can change between light mode, dark mode, and automatic. We'll leave it on light for this example. And we can change the depth effect to have on or off, and we'll see what that does in a second. But you'll see that you can now drag the clock down and the wallpaper kind of adapts to the clock. Pretty interesting. But the widgets get moved down here. So if you want to move this widget back up, you can't. You have to put the clock back small and then kind of tap into this here. If it allows me to, as you can see, it's not 100% working exactly how it's supposed to. But you can move this widget up to the middle. I don't know. I found that having this widget icon down the bottom, it kind of like overlaid the notifications on top of it. And it's still, as you guys can see, in beta. So it's not working 100% how it's intended to be operating. Pretty unique setup, however. And you can still go in and change your little icons down the bottom to whatever you might want. So we'll add that and we'll set that together. So we've got this new background or home screen, and we'll dive into the actual desktop. Now, as you guys can see, this is the original icon pack, and Apple have done some changes to their own apps. So there are changes to like the Mail and Photos app. It looks a little bit different in terms of icon style. But what we can do is we can click onto the home screen and go over to edit. And you'll see that the menu's already a little bit different, a little bit more logical. So add widget, customize, edit wallpaper, edit pages. So we'll jump over into customize, and you'll see you've got the default icon pack, you've got the dark icon pack, and then you've got this brand new clear version. And clear is obviously the new one, so that's what I'm going to be using. And you've got dark mode and light mode. And like I said, it's a little bit interesting because it's hard to kind of see, to be honest, some of the icons, but we'll leave it in dark mode because that seems to be easier to see on this lighter wallpaper. But either way, we can darken the wallpaper like this, and it gives it a little bit more legibility to what the apps are. And we can make the icons larger without having the names there because I can kind of already know what they are. So that looks very interesting. Now, does that look good? Leave a comment below. Is this Apple style? Now, they've also redesigned the camera app, which I was really looking forward to. But I think they've got a little bit more to do here because I don't see that much intuitiveness happening. But let's walk through it. So video is on the bottom, photo is here, so you can tap between the different modes. And then if you hold, you can swipe over into the different modes they have here. And you can see it's got this nice little kind of like bounce effect happening which feels nice, feels dynamic. And the same thing with photos. You can jump in and change it to your different modes. But straight away, starting off with video, you'll see that the settings now are up here, so you can tap in. But there's still no Apple log recorded into HEVC, which is a little bit disappointing to see. If you guys haven't watched my other video explaining how to maximize the image quality, I actually recorded my whole Japan trip using an iPhone with HEVC and Apple log, which made the footage look amazing. Make sure to go check out that video after. But you've got the option now to quickly change your settings, which is, I suppose, a little bit easier to navigate than previously. And then you've got these more options, which give you these type of style of big buttons to change your exposure or change into action mode. What do you think? I'm still getting used to it. Photos, same style. You've got the option up the top to change your formats. Then you've got these 3 dots here to change to like live mode, to turn off live mode, etc. And those options still show up kind of extended out here. Big changes? I don't know. One thing that I noticed that if you rotate the phone, it's not really changing dynamically to the top, which is kind of a little bit annoying, and I do hope they update that. Not massive changes, and you still got a shortcut to go into your photos. Revolutionary? I don't know. And as you can see, it's still in beta, so even when I swipe up, like, it doesn't give me that full style of lock screen that we just made. And you've got these like glassy type of notifications here. Game changing? First impressions? So-so. So Apple's updated the Photos app once more. You've got now the library option and collections option down the bottom here. Is this much different? Well, you've got the little icon up the top here to go by date captured and recently added, which makes more sense to quickly view what you've saved or what you've taken a photo of. You've got your filters and your view options here. As you can see, the menu layout is a little bit more logical, I would say, to what people would want to do quickly looking at the app. We can collapse it all to make it look like this rather than having previews. We can reorder it, change things around. We've got an ability to make it larger, smaller, squared style. Game changing. I feel like you have to tap in a lot more to find what you're looking for. Bit tricky, but it's there. It's a new update and it is what it is. If we dive into the settings on the phone, you'll see this layout or design that's now more liquid glass style. And you've got this search box down the bottom here, which allows you to type and find what you're looking for, but it's not working at the moment. But what I did notice, if you jump into battery, it's a new little bit of a style update here. And you've got this thing in power mode, which is called adaptive power, which is supposed to save you some juice depending on what you're doing with the app. So I flicked that on to see if it makes any difference. If you guys use Safari, you'll see here that they've updated the app just slightly. If we go over to Google, you can see that now there's a contextual bar down the bottom. I don't use Safari. I found that a lot of web apps tend not to load properly, so sticking with Arc at the moment. Jumping into files, you'll see that they've got a little bit of kind of curved out corners a bit more. You've got this menu bar that floats down the bottom. If you jump into iCloud Drive, everything still looks very similar to how it previously looks, just a little bit easier to see and click on what you want to go to. And they've also brought over a new app called Preview, which I hope will now enable us to not have to install third-party apps to open some random files and things like this that you might have saved into your phone or on the iCloud Drive app. Still playing around with this one, haven't got too far just yet. There's also a brand new app called Games, Apple Games. I feel like they're just trying to separate out the App Store into its own little section. But it's interesting to see this UI down the bottom that you can flick across through to different options. It looks pretty cool and dynamic. As you can see, it's got this cool glass effect as you hold down. Very unique. but it's a bit finicky because you accidentally sometimes press the swipe over function on the bottom of the phone. What's this app? It's basically to play games, but as you guys can see, I don't play that many. And I don't know why Shopback, for example, is in here when it's not a game. So Apple's still got some work to do. They've also updated the phone app, which has this same UI down the bottom. I don't want to go into my calls and contacts because of privacy, but it's very similar to how it was previously, a little bit more contextually organized. That's a little bit of my first impressions on the operating system so far, as a little hands-on view of what is going on to see if it's worthwhile updating to the beta. I would say hold off just for now. I don't feel like some of these changes are really worthwhile buying the device. I want to see how CarPlay works, and I'll do a little reel of that hopefully very soon. What do you guys think? Is it Apple enough or not? Leave your comments down below. Make sure to like the video, and I'll see you guys on the next couple of videos around the other updates that Apple have done recently.